What's good, ladies and gents? Welcome to the MKO Pugilism Boxing channel, where we talk all things boxing. Remember to like, subscribe, hit a bell notification, put that on all so you get notified of all the content as and when it drops on the channel. So let's get into this one. This weekend we're going to have some very good boxing action. A main event that should be a tremendous fight, real barn burner, and that's between Artur Beterbiev and Joe Smith Jr. of Long Island, New York. So this is going to be, I believe, a barn burner. These are two guys that just come for one thing, and that's war. Both of these guys are warriors. They both come to have a scrap. Joe Smith Jr., he calls himself the common man, and he just comes to have a broad blue-collar guy. You know, I was watching a bit of the build-up, and we go to where he's from. He's a guy that likes gardening, and both of these guys are, in some ways, they're quite similar, really. They're just sort of down-to-earth family men. You know, they both love their families, and they're both sort of wholesome characters. They're not really too braggadocious or anything like that. They just get down to business. And I think that's exactly what we're going to see when they both step into the ring on Saturday night. I think it's going to be a war, and it's just got all the ingredients, really, because both guys like to come forward. Smith is a good combination puncher of late, likes to keep letting his hands go. He likes to, certainly throws a lot of shots. Good. He's got a good engine as well, Joe Smith Jr. I think that's one thing he does have going for him. You know, both guys also have a lot of power. You know, a lot of TNT, a lot of dynamite in their punches. So this is going to be definitely a contest when it comes to the punching power and everything. And, you know, both guys like to come forward. They like to impose their will on the other guy. No one's really a pretty boxer. I mean, well, they've got a bit of ability there. You know, I've seen a bit of it from Smith and a bit from Beterbiev, but the strategies with these guys is, you know, come forward, and the objective is always, you know, take the other guy out. I mean, Artur Beterbiev has really done that to everyone he's fought. Yeah, he hasn't had loads of fights. His career's been stop-start in a way, but yeah, this is a very important fight as well, because it's basically clearing up most of the belts in the light heavyweight division. Of course, the other belt is with Dimitri Bivol, who has beaten Joe Smith Jr. in the past, and so he's got the other one of just beating Canelo. But apart from that belt, the rest of them will be on the line. So in terms of what I'm expecting to happen, you know, I'm expecting this to be a very tough fight, a war of attrition. And it's an interesting one because Artur Beterbiev is the man I'm sort of backing to win this fight. I think he'll have just a little bit too much for Joe Smith Jr. I'm backing him to be able to stop Joe Smith Jr. I'm expecting Beterbiev to be able to stop him in the late rounds of this fight, right towards the end, around the championship round, sort of round 10 or so, somewhere thereabouts. I'm expecting it to be a war of attrition, back and forth. And the interesting thing is, with Beterbiev, although I would call him the bigger puncher of these two guys, he's also vulnerable. He also can be hit, he can be hurt. I mean, our guy from over here, Callum Johnson, he was able to hurt and to drop Artur Beterbiev. I mean, we know he can whack, Callum Johnson, but it just shows that, you know, Beterbiev, as big of a puncher as he is, he's still vulnerable. He still has weaknesses, and, you know, he can be hurt. He's not a guy that's just sort of a cast iron chin. He's tough, but he can be hurt when he's in there with a puncher. So I'm not at all writing Joe Smith Jr. off. I think it's one of those fights where, you know, it's close to a 50-50 in my eyes. I'd call it more of a 60-40, 70-30 in favor of Artur Beterbiev, but I'd say probably closer to a 60-40 because of Beterbiev being, somewhat vulnerable. He can be hit, he can be hurt, and Smith is a puncher too, so it wouldn't surprise me at all. It wouldn't be really a big upset if Joe Smith Jr. took this fight. I mean, he's a guy that, yeah, he's had losses, but he's improved. He's been able to bounce back. So I'm expecting this to be a good competitive war. I'm expecting this to be a fight where it might be sort of a fight of the year candidate type fight. That's what I'm expecting out of this, because this will be a great one for the fans to watch. And I'm just slightly edging Artur Beterbiev to come out on top, probably via late stoppage, or even maybe for the first time in his professional career, he might have to go the distance and win that way. So yeah, that's what I'm expecting. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Who you backing to win this fight? Is it going to be Joe Smith Jr. or, like me, do you think Artur Beterbiev has all the ingredients to win this fight? And until next time, it's MKO Pugilism over and out.